Accountability 007 here, Versace Vince without his Versace glasses, so I'm just Vince right now. But how's everybody doing? So I wanted to give you guys a little update. I know I promised the July 5th video discovery. That's I believe, I might be wrong because there's been so many break-ins by the city of Wayne, Michigan. State sponsored break-ins, right? There's been, I believe, 6 or 7 now. But July 5th, we are still missing that video discovery. I misspoke in my last video. Um, as a matter of fact, the city of Wayne, Michigan is demanding $250,000 for a deposit in order to obtain that July 5th discovery. So it's whatever pertains to July 5th must be something that the city doesn't want because they've demanded that I pay them $250,000 for labor to retract or to redact information, right? Which is insane. Got to be the biggest FOIA amount demanded in Michigan state history, I would imagine. So of course here's how the process works, guys. So basically, I submit my FOIA, the clerk, you know, exorbitantly charges me, right, for that information, right? So this is they got two options, right? Well, I got three really. So when you submit a FOIA in the city of Wayne, because I've submitted several now, sometimes they'll approve it, sometimes, right? Sometimes they'll be like, oh, give us 40, 50, $100, whatever, and we'll give you what you want, which is still a lot of money, but, in 2026, okay. So that's about 20% of the time I've gotten probably like 20% of the FOIAs that I've requested, maybe 10%. But usually they'll just outright deny it. They'll just say, oh, that record doesn't exist. We can't find it. And so, that's interesting there. So then that's a slightly easier process because what you do is you appeal it, right? You request reconsideration, and then that forces the city council to have to act. So the city clerk gets to initially deny it, and then that's Tina Parnell, live and love, right? And then I file appeals, right? And then that gets considered, right, by the council, right? So the city council has to officially rule that they're not going to release that information with no explanation, of course. They can just, blanketly deny whatever they feel like. So once they send you that official denial letter through the council, which I just received my first one for FOIA number 2025-92, sorry, mate, only on now. What's up, buddy? How you doing, William? So basically what ends up happening is, I received a denial letter. And so now I can file a lawsuit. I could take them to Wayne Circuit Court and force them to compel that information. And then they got to pay my attorney or my court costs and whatnot. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing lawsuits for each FOIA denial because that's what they did to me, right? When they maliciously prosecuted me and charged me with interfering with an ordinance that doesn't exist, right? And then, compounded that with like a plethora, like dozens, it seemed like dozens and dozens of bond violations, new charges, which they all got disposed of, by the way. But every charge was its own case, right? So that's how the city of Wayne likes to do things. The process is the punishment, of course, as you guys know. And so what they did in my situation is instead of handing my case over to the Wayne County Circuit Court, to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, they just decided to charge me with any and all that they could, right? Every time they charged me with something, it was its own new case, right? So that way it would drive up the cost of it would drive up the cost, right? You know, because like if you like eventually I just had to be my own lawyer, which was I guess the secret to all this, but you know, I had attorneys that wouldn't even touch the case because there were so many charges, even though they were all bullshit, they all got disposed of. Every charge was its own case, right? So even if like it was insane, right? And so I'm going to return the favor to them, and of course, every time they violate my rights, it's its own separate lawsuit, right? So I'm not going to combine these FOIAs together. As they deny them, as they send me these letters, I'm just going to, you know, file a lawsuit in Wayne Circuit Court. And after about the second or third one, right, once they are forced to compel it and pay my fees, then the court's going to see, then not just the U.S. District Court, but also the Wayne County Circuit Court, which has a very they're very familiar with the city of Wayne, Michigan. The Wayne County Circuit Court does not particularly care for the city of Wayne, as does the U.S. District Court. They don't care for them either. But you know, we're gonna make sure we develop a pattern of misconduct, and you know, we're gonna go from there. So. Most recently, FOIA number 2025-95. The city of Wayne wanted like $4,000 or $5,000 deposit, right? Which of course I am going to be appealing that. I'm going to be requesting reconsideration, right? And once I do that, well, then it forces the city council to have to either approve or deny it, right? So then that's kind of like the floodgate opens, right? Once the city council, you know, they're the fake joke fat fucks at the city council, the clown circus show, once they decide that they're going to deny it, or they're going to, you know, again, say, oh, you got to pay us like $5,000 or $250,000. That was for FOIA number 2025-97. So I think that might be in the city, definitely in the city of Wayne history. That's the biggest FOIA that's ever been. Well, that's the biggest amount ever been demanded by the city for a FOIA, but probably in the state of Michigan, I was willing to bet. So I don't know what the strategy is exactly. I mean, I guess, you know, obviously the city of Wayne doesn't want to release this information, right? Because they know I'm going to publish it and it's going to make them look bad. So, of course, they don't want to, you know, they really don't want to give out any discovery, any body camera footage, because it's all implicating them, and it you know, the court of public opinion, right? They don't like people knowing about it. So let's read some of the comments. Jessie Body, my sister is trans and she's saying she might be pregnant, but I really don't want our child to be gay. Should we still keep it? I don't know, Brody. That sounds like a problem. I don't know. Can't help you with that one. Brandon F. Mitchell, Wayne. Welcome, Wayno. This is about ICE, Heavenly Princess, 1948. No, this isn't about ICE, right? So I know everyone's talking about ICE, and you know, don't get me wrong, ICE has its problems for sure. Very similar problems to the city of Wayne, right? No due process. You know, just warrantless break-ins just because somebody called or something, right? No, it's not about ICE. It's about the local city of Wayne, Michigan police department, the most corrupt police department, really the most corrupt city in the entire state of Michigan, which I know some people say, well, that's crazy. What about Lansing? What about Muskegon? What about Flint? What about Detroit? And I agree, right? But you guys, the city of Wayne, Michigan, it's small town corruption. It's different. It's like village corruption. And it's a different level of corruption down here in Wayne, Michigan. The city of Wayne, Michigan, that is. I mean, the whole county's corrupt as fuck, but the city of Wayne, Michigan is the top dog. William, governor needs to be alerted. Yeah, I've already done that, you know, but Democrat governors don't, you know, seem to care about. I mean, I don't. To be fair to the Democrats, Republicans, Democrats, no politician that we've ever reached out to has really ever cared, right? like I said, violating the Fourth Amendment. It's just not sexy enough. There's not enough, you know, every time I call or try, you know, it's like if it's not a personal injury, like he didn't get hit by a truck or something, then they're not interested in that. They're just interested in, you know, trials and not filing motions to dismiss the case, of course, because then there's no money. William J. Mays, he knows all about that, as does Jermaine Warwick. They both know all about that. I watched that go down where, you know, couldn't file a evidentiary hearing, couldn't file a motion to suppress, even though the evidence was clearly obtained illegally because they were enforcing a law that doesn't exist. So you would think, well, you know, we're going to suppress all that evidence, right? Which would get rid of multiple charges. But, you know, William J. Mays, he wasn't interested in that. He was just interested in that, you know, that cheddar, right? Two jury trials, right? He wanted two. He wanted to make me wait in jail for 2 months or 3 months too for him. So fuck William J. Mays. He's a fat piece of shit, alcoholic, fucking cuckold, and he won't be around much longer. His heart will give out. His arteries are 80-90% clogged. You can just tell by looking at the fat piece of shit. And he smokes cigarettes too. So no, he won't. Nature will take care of Mr. William J. Mays, and then he can rot in hell for all eternity. Right. So then God will remember, hey, remember that time you ripped that disabled veteran and his family off and then gave him the most incompetent, piss poor legal services known to mankind, where he had to fire you and then he won his case? Yeah, he had to fire you and then he got the probation terminated. But you were just going to keep him in jail for months, right, and force a plea because, you know, you're a piece of shit. But got bought off by the courts and the prosecutor. It's very obvious. But you'll say, oh, that's slander. No, it's not. It's my hunch. It's my opinion. With every fiber of my being, based off your actions. And the fact that William J. Mays couldn't answer basic legal questions with a straight face, and he would just, you know, mumble and, you know, contradict him, say he's a piece of shit. He's a fraudster. He's a fucking con artist. And I can't wait to get into that. I can't wait to have him in front of a board and have him explain, well, why didn't you file an evidentiary hearing? So if you knew that there was no law that even existed to enforce, then why didn't you make that a statement for the record? Why didn't you really pursue that? Well, the simple answer is because there's not enough money. See, there's not money in filing motions to dismiss cases or to suppress evidence, which would, you know, basically end the case. There's not enough money in that, guys. So the real money is in the jury trials. The real money is in the hearings, right? So if you can just keep it hearing after hearing after hearing after hearing after hearing, right, which is what William J. Mays did. He had no issue with it. Then that's like, what, $2-3 grand every time they show up, right? That's what these private, you know, fuckbag lawyers want, right? They want 2 or 3 grand because they think they're worth something. William J. Mays was worthless in my case. William J. Mays hurt my case. William J. Mays prolonged my suffering. After I fired the worthless fucking DEI hire, worst decision of my life was hiring Jermaine Warwick, right? But he was just incompetent. I think he was more incompetent. Whereas William J. Mays, he's not a stupid guy. He just, you know, like I said, it's all about the money. It's all about the Benjamins, right? That's what I've learned. So that's why I'm pro se, and I'll always be pro se. I'll never hire another attorney in my life because, I mean, I guess if it's free, but even if it's free, I mean, they could still fuck your case up, which is what they did to me, you know, several times, right? It didn't matter if it was a paid lawyer, unpaid lawyer. You know, they're going to go along with whatever the prosecutor in the court wants because, you know, they're cocks, right? They're officers of the court first and foremost, and their allegiance is pledged to the court, not to you. I mean, yeah, they'll take your money and, you know, be there, you know, patting you on the back while, you know, you're getting ready to go to jail because, you know, but they're not going to actually do anything effective for you because that's not profitable. Right, the profit's in the hearings, it's in the trials, it's in, you know, all the bullshit, right? Keeping shit going, keeping the fraud going, keeping the scam going. So that's all William J. Mays did, was he was complicit in keeping the fraud going. He knew there was no valid ordinance that was being enforced. Therefore, there's no way to violate a law that doesn't exist, right? Therefore, there's no way to interfere with the enforcement of a law that doesn't exist. It's not rocket science, right? But it's not enough money in that. So fuck you, William J. Mays, you fat piece of shit. Go slip on a banana pill and choke on a fucking hot dog, you fat piece of shit. Fuck you. You're a fucking worthless piece of shit. So that's all I got to say about William J. Mays. Fuck him. And fuck Jermaine Warwick, too, to be fair. They're both worthless pieces of shit. Fraudsters is what they are. They're fraudsters. So next comment. Gabriel, man, hey, Nanya Gale. I don't know what that means, but welcome. Two pepperoni Tony. That's funny. If I drew a face on a potato, it's your double. Hey, dude, this fucking face has gotten me a lot of ass over the years, so I'm not complaining. But it is a big ass head, though. I ain't gonna lie. I got a big ass fucking head, dude. Um, Dick Wiener. I'm fat and gay, but so what? So what, dude? Dickie underscore Wiener. You're fat and gay, but so what? Sorry to hear that, dude. I'm really sorry to hear that. I mean, but the fat part you can do something about. You can hit the gym, you can go for a walk, you can just get off your ass, stop stuffing your pie hole. and, I'll take care of the fat part. Unless you got some genetic disorder where you got like Jason Blaha genetics or something, then you might just be fucked. As far as the gay thing goes, just go to church. Go to a real church like a Lutheran church or something hardcore, Eastern Orthodox. And maybe that'll help. But sorry to hear that, Dickie Wiener. But welcome. We have no issue with your fatness or your gayness, but it is America. We have different flavors of ice cream for a reason. Paul Jesus Apostolic Church, Louisiana. What's up, Paul? Said hi. Detroit is the worst, hands down. Billy Johnson. Yeah, I mean, Detroit, Michigan is the worst. I mean, it's, the blackest city in America. It's the most ghetto. It's the most dysfunctional. It's the most DEI hires, the most, black females in power, even though black females don't contribute anything to America. They never have. But, that's all Detroit seems to know how to hire is black females, right? Because then I guess they're not racist or something. Even though if you hire all of one group of people, I thought that was racism or there's not enough diversity. But I guess the diversity stuff only applies to white people. So diversity just means less white people. It doesn't actually mean like diversity, right? Because when you bring up like the fact in Detroit where it's like, hey, because it's a funny argument, isn't it? Where if you bring up the fact that Detroit is virtually, run by all black women, right? Virtually, right? I mean, there's some black guys, but it's mostly black women. And you'll notice that they'll say, oh, well, that doesn't mean anything. Detroit's 80+% black. So, it makes sense that 99% of the workforce is black, which is bullshit argument. Because if you're in a city like, that's 80% white and, 80+% of the government's white men, well, then holy fucking shit, we gotta fix that, right? So the double standards in Detroit, and that's, Detroit's a ghetto shithole. I don't recommend anyone ever goes and visits there. I recommend that you just let the place rot like it's been rotting for the last 60 years. And, yeah, Detroit is the worst. Big city. Detroit's really the only city in Michigan, true city. But, yeah, it is very corrupt because of the demographics, who runs it. But the city of Wayne is like a smaller Detroit. So I know Detroit's the worst, but the city of Wayne, I don't know if you guys have ever like lived in a small town, right? You get those small town politics, that small town bullshit, right? That middle school drama, everybody knows everybody type of shit. So imagine Detroit, significantly smaller, a bit more white, but ultimately the same thing, right? I think Wayne, Michigan's the worst because at least Detroit, they kind of shed a spotlight, right, on Detroit. So like if Detroit gets out of line too much, right, people will notice, right? And so I think Detroit is slightly less corrupt than like a small little city like Wayne, because Wayne, no one knows what Wayne is. When you say I'm from Wayne, Michigan, they think Wayne County. And so city of Wayne, not a lot of people even know about it in Metro Detroit even, which is fucking crazy. But it's not, because there's nothing here and it's a joke and it's a shithole. And for as far as I can tell, for the last 40 years, it's been that way. And the government is the worst. Like the people of Wayne, Michigan are great. Most of my neighbors are fantastic. Some of them are cop calling shitbags, Blue Falcons, right, of course. But the vast majority of Waynos are decent people, working class people, But the government, the police, the fire department, the city hall shouldn't even exist, right? And that's why I'm running for mayor, so we can disband it all and get rid of it, because it is redundant and it's not necessary and it's a huge tax burden. And Ultimately, it just leads to lawsuits. That's all these departments are good for, is, I guess, attracting lawsuits, because that's what they've gotten with me. Because they continuously want to break into my property without warrants to enforce laws that don't exist. Or even if these laws do exist, right, you still can't supersede the Fourth Amendment to enforce an ordinance, right? It's called the Supremacy Clause. The Supremacy Clause means that the Constitution is the law of the land. And, while you can have an ordinance, right, you can pass an ordinance on paper, you can't violate a constitutional right to enforce a local ordinance. So you can't violate the Fourth Amendment over felonies, let alone for fucking petty misdemeanors or administrative searches or whatever bullshit, they like to throw at you. It's still illegal. So they're going to find that out in court. They'll find that out in federal court. Here we go. Here's the Riddler. The Riddler 69.911. Riddle me this. I'm loud and obnoxious. I like music that rhymes. I'm a fraction of the population, but commit half the crimes. Who am I? Ooh, that's a tough one. I don't know. Are you a jogger? Are you a jogger? Are you a Negro? Are you a Negro? Are you Niger? Are you a Niger? I don't know. I don't know what you are. I don't know. Maybe Mexican? I'm not sure. Not sure. White liberal? Are you a white liberal woman? I'm not sure. Amen Arf -W2S. Do you like reading books? Not particularly. I can read. I know I looked the other way when I said that, but rest assured, I can read. I can read fairly well. I've read books in the past. I read a lot. I just don't know if I read books per se. I read articles, newspapers, comments. Not a big book guy. But I like to, summarize them and get the main, details out of them. But yeah, I'm not huge into books. Like, I'm not the type that's gonna pick up a 1,000-page book and read it from front to back. Probably don't have the attention span for that, but I can do it. I've done it, but it's just not really my thing. What's that city in Michigan with polluted water? Marty Jr. P3G. That would be Flint. That would be Flint, Michigan. The mini Detroit, which is about 60 miles northwest of Detroit. That would be the wonderful city of Flint. Same story. Overwhelmingly black, overwhelmingly ghetto. All the council people are, white trash or just, ghetto as fuck, and joggers and DI hires, and no redeeming quality in Flint. It's basically a polluted wasteland. Bill Johnson 2456. Trump, Trump, Trump. Ice, ice, ice. Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really too happy with Trump. I think he's been mostly a disappointment, but obviously better than Kamala Harris or, sleepy Joe Biden or fucking Tim Walz or some crazy clown shit like that. Kate McDougall, E2M, you're a clown. Well, first of all, Kate, you use the wrong your. It's supposed to be YOUR''E. So you're a clown, that's not proper. You are a clown, that is proper. That's not really an argument. It sounds like low IQ retard babble. So we'll kind of monitor you, and if you get too out of line. I mean, we're all for freedom of speech here, right? We're not looking to ban somebody or to oust somebody. But you got to kind of if you're going to insult me, at least make it grammarly correct. At least put some thought into it, Kate. I mean, come on. XXXX Voltron XXXX. Damn, this guy must like to fuck a lot. What you get at Taco Bell? Well, I haven't really eaten at Taco Bell in a number of years. I kind of stopped going after they went retarded with their prices. But I used to get the 5-layer burritos back when they were 89 cents. I used to get 3 or 4 of those. I guess I used to get the $5 big box or whatever. That's about it, man. Really, I haven't really eaten at Taco Bell in years, because they used to be like the best bang for your buck, right? You used to be able to like $5, you were fucking shitting all night at Taco Bell, but that was years ago. Now it's, since COVID especially, it's just gotten retarded. I think the last time I looked, the 5-layer burrito was like $4 or $5, which is just fucking insane. Especially when they used to be literally 89 cents. So yeah, I don't really fuck with T-Bell anymore, but every time I do, man, every time I fuck with T-Bell, I just get the worst. I'll be like I am right now, just on the shitter all day. So not a big fan of Taco Bell. Yes. What's up?
You start the car yet?
Huh?
Start the car?
Oh shit, yeah, I will. Next comment, Kate. Why would you kick your mother downstairs in a wheelchair? Because she's a crackhead? I don't know. I mean, why wouldn't you? Kate McDowell, this clown. William Kinner, lots of pigs on here. Yeah, there's a lot of piggies on here. A lot of piggies. A lot of piggies tune into my YouTube. Because, see, in the city of Wayne, right, there's such little to do. There's so little need for a police department or a fire department or a city council or any of that garbage. But there's such a little demand for actual police work in Wayne that they have to watch these videos. They have so much downtime, right? They have to. So, yeah, that's the thing. They have time to follow my videos, right? I don't follow theirs because who the fuck cares what's going on in Wayne? But they just can't. I live rent free in the city of Wayne, Michigan. Police department's heads, I guess. Let's see here. Lots of pigs on here. Tonio 9096, like your hair. What's wrong with my hair, dude? Leave my fucking hair alone. I mean, it's not all that, but I farted, hairless clown. I farted because your hair went extinct, Kate. I mean, come on, dude. That's just some gay shit right there. Do you work out? No, not really. I mean, I used to. I do. I'm a lumberjack now. I split wood and, have sex with women. That's pretty much my workout. So I'm married, got children, so that's kind of how I do it. But with every fiber on your dome piece, gay. Your hair took a forever vacation. Grow a pair and some hair. I'll work on that. Appreciate that, Kate. Man had to give this lecture closed off in his bathroom so he didn't annoy his parents. That's funny. That's fucking funny. Yeah, I mean, it does get a little bit annoying. I don't live with my parents. I actually own this house with a VA loan. I'm a disabled veteran, so I was able to qualify for a VA loan. So that's the reason why I live here. But yeah, I don't want to disturb everybody. And I started the video. Hey, what? Hey, you start that car.
Alright.
Big mama.
I'm
getting my shoes on right now. I'm just talking to YouTubulous land, talking to all the fans, all the piglets, all the bombs, all the lovely people. Some bombs, some lovely people. Can I rate you from 1 to 10? Trans girl, 0. What's the topic in here? The topic is a $250,000 FOIA. That is the topic. Actually, matter of fact, do you have that? Can you print that off for me, baby? You got the FOIA? You can print that off for me? I sent it to you. Well, printer's right there. It takes 5 seconds. That's why we buy the good printers, That's why we have all the good shit. So you are a criminal, Mike's 2493. Yeah, I mean, I guess so, bro. I mean, I guess so. I mean, it seems like, a badge of honor nowadays. Let's see here. This is the ramblings of a madman. Dickie Wiener. Bros on the toilet talking politics. Yeah, I mean, what else are you gonna? I mean, what better place to talk bullshit than while you're taking a shit, right? What better way? What better place, right? You think I want to waste productive time talking about this fucking garbage? Not really. I mean, but I will because it's important, right? People's constitutional rights are important, and as they're being ripped away from us from the federal government, but as well as the local government. Yeah, I think you got to document it. So this is just a paranoid schizophrenic guy in front of a camera, right? I don't know. Am I paranoid schizophrenic? I don't know. Is it paranoia when you have, 6 different occasions of the police and fire department and the city breaking into your house to enforce a law that doesn't exist? We have this thing called the city charter. If I look up a city charter and I see that an ordinance has been repealed, 1278 and 1278.07, look it up, guys. So when I'm being molested on my property by the government because they're claiming they have an ordinance, but then on their website it's clearly been repealed. It's in their charter. It's been repealed, or it just never existed at all. It's a little bit weird, I don't know if that's paranoia, schizophrenic, but maybe, I don't know, Can tell when content creators have nobody to talk to in real life. No, I mean, I got people standing right here, dude. I got a hot wife and children and got tenants and all kinds of people, but, I think this is a more appropriate platform to talk about police brutality, police misconduct, etc. Yeah, these content creators are a joke. That's why, Kate, you've left like 10 comments. And nobody really gives a shit because you're probably a guy pretending to be a woman anyways. So for that reason, we're gonna have to block you because you're just, at this point, I just think you're probably some cuck, probably related to Dennis Danielson or Jeremy Schneider or one of those fucking fag bags. So we're gonna have to give you the ban hammer, Kate. I hate to break it to you, but yeah, you are officially. I'm gonna put you in timeout. I'm gonna give you another chance. We'll put you in timeout for a day. So let's see here. It's just science. Man, wipe your ass before it dry up and get all flaky. I like it like that. There's LGBT church. Yes, there is, and you should avoid them at all costs. He's not even reading chat. Well, fuck, guys. I mean, let me, I'm a little slow here. Slow down. Let me get my shit here. Damn, and he racist. I'm racist. Yeah. I don't know. You guys need to talk to my wife about that then. You need to talk to the people in this house because there's a lot of non-white people that live here, and I don't know if I'm racist. Then fuck, that's crazy. It's racist to recognize patterns, guys. You know that? You're not supposed to recognize the patterns. You're not supposed to. Mike 2493. Somebody's big mad. Yeah, I guess. I don't know who, but I was not expecting the racist tirade. I don't know. Is it racist? Is it racist to notice that, the majority of violent crime, the vast majority of violent crime in America is committed by a very small subset of the population? Is that really racist, or is that just like pattern recognition, survival? I don't know. Sounds like some cock shit, honestly. Calling people racist, that's so like 1960, right? So I don't know. I don't believe in racism. I'm like Jesse Lee Peterson. I don't believe it ever existed. I don't believe that it exists at all. I think Jesse Lee Peterson has it right. Racism is just like an argument that low IQ retards try to utilize to shut down debate and, things that are inconvenient to them, right? Then it's just racist. Or their best one, anti-Semitic, right? Even though Muslims and Christians are Semites, but I guess when you change the definitions of words around to fit what you want it to mean, anti-Semitic, racism, sexist, all that garbage. So, yeah, if you throw out terms like that, you're literally just telling the world that you're a low IQ retard and you don't have any like actual coherent arguments other than racist. That's 10 years ago, guys. That's fucking 2010 shit. Homeboy took a fat rip off meth and started talking politics on the toilet.
No, I haven't smoked any meth today. Can't say I have. But if you got some, if you got some, shit. Black folks work hard. Shout out the homies. Yeah, work hard at what? Fucking robbing people. What have the black women done to you? Nothing. That's the problem. They don't seem to do a whole lot. They're in public office, but they don't seem to want to work that well or that often. They just kind of do what they want. Bum in mom's house talking politics. This guy is on the toilet. How are you people taking this seriously? I mean, hey, dude, people got to shit, right? Why waste all that time, right? I could be talking to you beautiful people. Hey, are you gay? Sometimes I wish I was, but no, straight as an arrow. I live in Detroit, Ashley, 0206. Sorry to hear that. I'm very sorry to hear that, Ashley. Bro is on the toilet. Ashley, ignore this guy. Yeah, fuck first responders. Yeah, I mean, in the city of Wayne's case, fuck the city of Wayne, of course, because they're not really first responders, right? When the government's breaking into your house because you have a bonfire, that's not a first responder. That's called somebody that's got nothing else better to do. That's literally a fireman that's got nothing else to do, so they have to make conflict, right? That's not a first responder. All right, we're going. We gotta go, guys. We gotta go. We'll talk to you later. Go get a job. I do have a job. Make more money than you do. But yeah, we'll talk to you guys later. A lot of cucks in these comments, unfortunately. Some of them, but any ones that aren't, welcome to the channel, and hope you have a great day. I know, we're going right now.